Aaron Sachs & Associates.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. We're going to see how some area fans came together to watch the big game.
Plus, volunteers in Carl Junction came together to help local nonprofits with some service projects.
And Mother Nature throwing her own celebration, bringing snowfall to the area, at least parts of it. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 a.m. on this Monday morning, and how about them Chiefs?
We did it!
That
Super Bowl champs!
We knew it was going to be an incredible game, and it absolutely
They delivered.
Was.
It
was a fantastic
really
game, well played on both sides, but of course, the most important side won.
Of course,
That's the most important part there. And of course, lots of folks celebrating. They were celebrating last night too with some fireworks.
Gosh.
That's how I knew we won.
Right? It felt like it was the 4th of July.
It certainly did.
Well, football fans across the 4 states gathered together to watch the Super Bowl yesterday.
KOAM's Samantha Walker met with a few fans before the big game to see how they were celebrating.
Super Bowl 58 between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers is bringing out fans from across the 4 states. Many chose to gather at watch parties at local bars and restaurants to celebrate.
Oh, we got plenty of food. We got some drink specials going on. We got 7 TVs and our big TV that we're going to show the entire game.
He says past Super Bowl games have proven how fun gatherings of fans can be.
We've always had a great time, been a great turnout, and, you know, we've seen 2 Chiefs Super Bowl wins here. So.
And fans from both teams came out to represent.
Obviously the Niners, you know, bang bang, Niner gang, got to represent.
Oh, there's no doubt. Obviously the Chiefs, and I've been with them through the thick and thin, and I've been rooting for them since I moved back from Texas in 5th grade.
And for some fans, watching the game could bring some family tension, especially when a couple has different teams.
We wanted to come out and not have a family feud because we're both one fan each family.
Fans say watch parties offer an opportunity to be around people with the same interests.
Oh, it's enjoyable to hear other people's take on things when things are going good or bad. So it's kind of fun being around other fans.
And fans from both teams were hoping for a win.
I'm just got my fingers crossed for another great win, another Super Bowl win.
I'll be the happiest day of my life, probably. Except for when I'm married her, for sure.
Reporting for KOAM, I'm Samantha Walker.
The Kansas City Chiefs beat the San Francisco 49ers 25-22, making them back-to-back Super Bowl champions.
Because we have to be here so early, I only got to watch the first half.
Right?
But then the fireworks woke me up, and that's how I knew. I was like, we're either under attack or we won the Super Bowl. One of the two.
Well, celebrations are just going to keep going because we got the parade now on Wednesday, so that's going to be a huge turnout, I'm sure.
And a fun fact before we get to our forecast is the National Weather Service in Kansas City said there were so many fireworks being set off last night that it actually showed up on radar. That's how intense the celebration was up north there, which I can't blame them. Here locally, Mother Nature celebrating a different way, dropping some snow. Let's take a quick look outside. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. As we're getting a little more daylight, it's a little harder to see the snow falling, but if you look close enough at this street light, it is still coming down. It's a little lighter than it was earlier. It stuck to the grass, and it tried to stick to the roads. They are wet. They are a bit slushy out there. And you got to slow down and make sure you are taking your time. Now, Joplin schools, they sent a message. They are in session today, but there are a number of other schools that are closed today. And so make sure you're checking that list. MoDOT cameras around the metro. Again, mainly wet roadways, which is good news. We're not seeing the snow sticking too terribly bad out there, but that's not been the case everywhere. In this white zone, we are looking at a dusting up to 2 inches of snow, 2 to 4 in the light blue, and 4 inches or more in the dark blue. But again, some areas, if you get a heavy enough snow band for a long enough time, there could be some locally higher amounts, but these are what we're expecting on average. The best way to know where the snow is sticking out there is with road conditions. Labette County still a number of covered roadways. Some improvements in the Montgomery County, but still partially covered roadways out there, including 166, 169. And then as we head into other parts of southeastern Kansas, into Crawford County and into Cherokee County and Bourbon County, still some partially covered roadways out there as well. On the Missouri side, it's a great example of what we talked about where the snow would be focused. You'll have several miles of relatively clear roadways, and then suddenly you run into covered roadways. That's a stretch of I-44 in Jasper County and into Newton County, partially covered roadways into Joplin, and then covered roadways southern half of Lawrence counties, Berry, Newton, and McDonald counties as well. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing where that snow is around the area as it continues to cycle on through. Winter storm warnings until 6 in the pink, winter weather advisories until 6 here and until noon over to the west, and temperatures again around the region not too bad considering the snow. Low to mid 30s out there with some upper 30s here and there, but the snow wraps up by about about 2-3 o'clock. Sun comes out, and then our highs today mid upper 40s, and it's going to get even warmer yet. We'll look at that complete forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. An Oklahoma woman is dead after a late night crash in Joplin. It happened around 11 p.m. Friday night on I-44 near exit 4. Authorities say 24-year-old Rachel Binford was taking the exit when she hit the rear of a tractor trailer and left the roadway. Binford was killed in the crash. No one in the semi was injured, and the JPD Major Crash Team is investigating the crash. Chiefs fans in Neosho started the Super Bowl party early with a tailgate on Saturday. Local vendors and community members brought food to the Oxbow market, including dips, beef sticks, popcorn, and pretzels. Folks were able to get samples and try new items from vendors.
Well, I wanted to come out here. First of all, I love to support this small business. I'm out here at least once a week, and I wanted to bring my husband and do some taste testing on all of the little gourmet foods that they are carrying, and just to help support this local business.
Chiefs fans got a 10% discount if they were sporting some team gear. And the Southeast Kansas Humane Society yesterday held its 47th annual chili dinner. The purpose of the dinner was to help raise funds for various medications, vaccines, toys, and much more. It included a live performance, a bingo bash, and of course, chili. Yesterday's event had more than 50 volunteers. And the Carl Junction Area Chamber of Commerce Saturday hosted a service project for local nonprofit organizations. Volunteers were able to spend their morning going to various nonprofits and help them with service projects including mowing, painting, trash pickup, and much more.
You know, everybody comes together to volunteer and give their time, and these organizations don't have paid employees, so most of the time it's a nonprofit, so they don't have the resources to get these projects done for themselves. So when they can get these volunteers, it's just a great blessing for them.
Volunteers were able to help more than 10 local nonprofits. And up next, the Boot Scootin' Boutique Bash is set for this Friday. We'll hear from Madison Smith on what you can expect. And later, we'll see how a red mailbox is spreading a message of hope. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Welcome to Miss Daisy's, where you're rated to add charm and style to your space. Come shop with us at Miss Daisy's Home and Decor and give your home the makeover it deserves.
If you're not doing anything this Friday, you may want to consider visiting the Boot Scootin' Boutique Bash that's happening this Friday. Madison Smith, one of the organizers of the event, is here this morning to share what we can expect. Welcome, Madison.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us, what is this Boot Scootin' Boutique Bash?
So the Boot Scootin' Boutique Bash is a monthly vendor shopping boutique event. Okay. So we'll have 40 plus vendors there. Wow. There'll be a little bit of everything shopping wise, lots to choose from. It's a great place to bring your girlfriends, your kids. We'll have stuff for them, your husbands. We'll even have a husband lounge for them to sit so they don't nagging you while you're shopping. There'll be some snacks provided by some awesome vendors that will be there. Super exciting.
So it's just a whole all-day shop till you drop kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
yes,
40 vendors. That's a
yes.
lot. That's like more than the mall.
Yeah.
You know? So tell us who are some of the vendors that are going to be showing
So we
up.
have some awesome vendors that are attending. We have some that come every single month, some that are new, some that are local, some that are far away. So you get a little bit of everything each month. And we have everything from women's clothing, we have some men's clothing, some children's clothing, candles, decor, bags, accessories, just like everything that you could think of that would be in a boutique. All of our different vendors are supplying this.
Okay, that sounds pretty awesome. And it's happening in a event center,
yes.
right? So tell us about that.
So it's located at the MYP Legacy Event Center in Neosho, Missouri. It's right across the street from Griffith's Motor Company, if you're familiar with Neosho. It's on 180 North Business 49 in Neosho, Missouri. We've got lots of banners, balloons, signs. You'll see us.
I love this.
Yes.
And how long have you guys been doing this for?
I just started this in January, so I own a small business myself.
That's great.
And so I never found an event that was convenient enough for me, that was cost efficient, and that was just fun. So I started my own. So with the help of my amazing mom, who does all the behind the scenes stuff, I just wanted to start an event, so I did.
I love that. Good for you.
Thank you.
And speaking of sales, I hear there's going to be some really good deals.
Yes,
Tell us about that.
I'll have some sales going on in my booth. I have a Build-A-Bag station where you can pick your bag, strap, keychain, wallet. Lots of other vendors are going to be having sales going on. It's going to be an awesome time.
Okay, and how does it cost anything to attend?
It is free to shoppers, and the first 25 people to get in will get a swag bag full of amazing goodies.
I love this. Okay,
Yes.
so one more time for our people at home. When is this happening? Where? What time?
So the Scoot & Boutique Bash is every third Friday in Neosho, Missouri, located right across the street from Griffith's Motor Company at 180 North Highway Business 49 in Neosho, Missouri.
What's the start time?
Starts at it goes from 4 to 8 p.m.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. And it's happening this Friday.
Yes.
So,
come join us. Yeah.
Friday night. Let's get our shopping on. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank
and
you.
Stick around because we've got more news coming up right after this.
Casino is giving away big casino cash and Go Rewards
on the next Tamron Hall this morning at 10, right here on Fox 14.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:16 now on this Monday morning, and we're dealing with wintry weather for at least some of us. Winter weather advisories here until noon. From here over to the east until 6 this evening, and in the pink, these are winter storm warnings that will continue through 6 this evening. In terms of snowfall amounts, I know it's something everybody is really curious about. In the white zone, we're expecting a dusting up to 2 inches. In this light blue zone, about 2 to 4 inches, and in the dark blue, we're looking at 4 inches or more. However, some of the heavier snow bands in any of these areas could produce some locally heavier amounts that could be upwards of maybe even 6 inches, even outside of the heavier snow zone. So just do be aware of that as we go through the morning. Here's a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. Snow across the area, staying to the south of Nevada right now and south of Osceola, but going into Stockton, Lamar, Greenfield, just starting to get in on some additional snow. Carthage, Mount Vernon. As we head south, this is where some of the bigger concerns and bigger issues have been on the Missouri side in terms of highways and roadways being covered out there. So Neosho, Monette, Cassville, Pineville. Heading into northeastern Oklahoma, still dealing with some snow around Miami, Fairland, Grove, Bonita, Chelsea, Newata, Lenapaw. Still seeing that snowfall, and you can see in the darker colors where some of the heavier snow bands are. Now southeast Kansas, a good portion of southeast Kansas clearing out. Some light snow showers just to the northwest of Fort Scott. Light snow, and it is falling here outside our studio, which is about here. Otherwise, it's starting to clear up a bit. Now, the best way, of course, as we've talked about through the morning, to know where the snow is really falling and reaching the ground and where it's really sticking is with road conditions. So we're going to start on the Kansas side. We now have a covered roadway, and that is 166 through the southern portion of Labette County. Otherwise, we have seen some improvements. Montgomery County continuing to improve. Partially covered roadways in the light blue, and Bourbon County continuing to improve with what they call wet pavement or seasonal pavement. So slick spots out there in Bourbon County, but again, improvements for sure. On the Missouri side, still covered roadways, I-44 through parts of Jasper County, 49, most of the major highways in our southern counties, so the southern half of Lawrence County, and then into Berry, McDonald, and Newton counties, and then in Joplin, right behind the Tex. Those blue spots are MoDOT highways that they control in the city that are listed as partially covered. Our camera downtown Joplin in the Cornell complex, look at that. That snow took a momentary pause and has picked right back up again, and it's obviously been sticking to the grassy surfaces. The roadways, it's sticking in some areas but not everywhere, but it has left them wet, and that is causing for other concerns in terms of slick spots on those roadways. MoDOT cameras around the metro, again, showing where we've got wet roadways. We have the snow trying to stick in some locations, but not everywhere, but it is coming down pretty heavily again. Our camera, 7th and Range Line, also showing where we are seeing the wet roadways for sure and snow trying to stick in some locations. Now, here's the crazy thing. This is rain, because look at the temperature in Pittsburgh, for example, 41 by noon. That's rain on the backside of this. By 2, 3 o'clock at the latest, all of this is out of here, and then we've got mostly clear skies back behind that. So some of us, where we clear out early, look at Yates Center, for example, 50. We're looking at highs today in the mid to upper 40s out there after all of this rolls on through. 33 in Joplin. It is, of course, snowing. Feels like 25. North breeze at about 9 miles an hour. Temperatures around the region mostly in the low to mid 30s out there, but again, we're going to warm up later. So we've got the wintry mix of the first half of our day, clearing skies later, temperatures again mid upper 40s. Tonight we are mostly clear, falling back into the low 30s, and as we head later into the week, whatever snow falls in the locations that are seeing it doesn't last long. Mid 50s tomorrow, 60s Wednesday and Thursday, and then maybe some rain chances Friday and Saturday, and a little cooler by Saturday as well. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
I'm not coming out until Casey.
Well, now you have. Buy one large single topping pizza, get the second half off. Only at Casey's.
Well, one woman in North Carolina has brought her community together with the help of a little red mailbox.
Erica Craven takes us beachside to see where it all began.
A red beacon of hope overlooks the sea at Glenmore Beach Access in Kill Devil Hills. There, Sue Goodrich shows me what's inside this little red mailbox.
Miss you more and more each day. Love you with all my heart.
A haven for thoughts, dreams, and humanity.
But when I lost my mother suddenly in 2011, I was really upset. And I used to come here and I would just talk to my mom. And I kept hearing her say, Sue, if you ever feel sad, help someone else out.
So she placed a little red mailbox here for others to add to these journals. Ever since, the mailbox has grown in popularity. Little red mailboxes have popped up across Virginia and the country. At the Kill Devil Hills Town Hall, visitors can find dozens of original journals.
In the storm of life, may your heart be like an eagle and soar above.
Little red mailbox contents from the past decade, an important piece of the community.
So we wanted to have a way that that message would keep going, that it would keep getting shared within our community. Again, going further than just the Kill Devil Hills community, we also have these notes digitally archived just to preserve them. They're important. What people have to say is important.
And here, the mailbox will remain for times of joy and times of trouble.
You can think, you can reflect, and you can think of all the things that you are grateful for. And then writing it down is also therapeutic because your heart tells the story. Especially sitting here, like you're sitting like on the edge of the earth, and you know everything's going to be okay.
The beacon of hope by the sea.
And if you can't visit in person, the mailing address for the mailbox is Kill Devil Hills. It's P.O. Box 1719, Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, 27948.
Certainly a unique project for sure.
Absolutely, very neat. Well, coming up, the Fort Scott Chamber of Commerce had a unique way to get their residents out and about over the weekend.
And the snow falling, coming down heavily again in Joplin. We'll take another look at that forecast coming up.
It's the President's Day Super Sale at Furniture Row. Plus 6 years no interest and free shipping. The President's Day Super Sale, only at Denver Mattress.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:28 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Cherokee County, Kansas authorities are searching for an attempted murder suspect. Police say back in May of 2023, Joshua Ferguson of Riverton shot at a family member multiple times. The victim was unharmed and Ferguson was later arrested in Webb City, Missouri. Authorities charged him with attempted second-degree murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and criminal threat. He posted bond but has since violated the conditions and is now wanted by police. If you have any information about his whereabouts, you are asked to contact authorities. The Running Collective kicked off the Chiefs festivities Sunday morning with a Chiefs group run. The purpose of the event was to get outside and log some miles with other local runners. Participants were encouraged to bring a friend, human or otherwise, to help celebrate another Super Bowl appearance for the Chiefs.
It's just great camaraderie amongst friends. We just go out and run, and we'll run 3 or 4 miles today with our pets and just have a good time. It's kind of like sitting in a restaurant or a bar setting, but no alcohol and just good healthy fun.
The Running Collective hosts group runs every month. And the Central Christian Center in Joplin yesterday celebrated the Kansas City Chiefs making it to the Super Bowl with a cereal bowl sundae. Attendees were able to chow down on some of their favorite cereals, including Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms, and Fruit Loops. Officials say the event was a good way to help kids get excited for the big game.
We wanted to do something fun. A lot of kids aren't super into Super Bowl and football. I myself am not a huge football fan, although I do root for the Chiefs. And so we just wanted to have something fun to do because we know that they're going to be hyper because their parents are excited for the Super Bowl. And so what kid doesn't love a big bowl of cereal?
A bracket created by the kids determined that the fan favorite cereal was Oreos. And the Joplin Public Library yesterday highlighted Black history and culture in honor of Black History Month. It included a storytelling presentation from local authors, all ages book displays, and a children's craft table. Among some of the local organizations participating were the Easttown Dreams District and the George Washington Carver National Monument.
I think that what we would really like for people to take away from the fair is not just thinking about Black history as a one-time a year thing, and just to see the wealth of things that are happening and how history is being made every day, and that it's not just Black history, it's American history, it's history for everyone.
Interactive tables and displays were available from 11:45 until 1 Saturday afternoon. The Fort Scott Area Chamber of Commerce has found a pretty sweet way to encourage shopping. Saturday, the Chamber held the Love Local Chocolate Crawl with stores in downtown Fort Scott. Shoppers were invited to shop locally while sampling a variety of different chocolates. Participants were encouraged to stop at 3 or more participating businesses.
It's very important to shop local. You're putting the money back in the community by shopping local, and we've had customers in already right after we opened.
The Chamber hopes the event encourages people to shop local. The slogan for this year's chocolate crawl was, "You can't buy love, but you can buy local." And 2 hostages freed by Israeli special forces in Rafah arrived at a hospital on the outskirts of Tel Aviv Monday. Israel's military said that the 2 men who were kidnapped by Hamas from kibbutz Ner Yatzka on October 7th were in good condition and taken to the Tel Hashemer Medical Complex, the military said. They were being held on the 2nd floor of a building that was breached with a car explosive charged during the raid, which saw heavy exchanges of gunfire with surrounding buildings. Israel has said more than 130 hostages are still being held in Gaza.
And we've got ourselves snow across parts of the area. Take a look, our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. That snow let up for a bit, has picked up once again. Slick spots on the roadways. And of course, it is sticking to the grass quite easily out there this morning. MoDOT cameras around the area, take a look. Now, it's zoomed in a bit from the one at 20th and Rangeline, but it is reducing visibilities by just a wee bit. Look at 32nd and Rangeline. You can't see very far. Can't see very far on the 7th and Garden Grove camera either, so we do have some reduced visibilities from this heavier snow. Now, On average, in the white zone, a dusting to 2 inches, 2 to 4 in the light blue, and 4 inches or more in the dark blue. But as we've been mentioning through the morning, some of these heavier snow bands, if they get concentrated over a specific area anywhere in this zone, you could have some locally higher amounts out there. Now, the easiest way, of course, to tell where that snow is sticking, is with road conditions. Now, in Kansas, they are beginning to improve as the snow has begun to let up. Labette County, still some partially covered highways out there, same in Crawford County, but looking better in Bourbon and Montgomery counties out there. On the Missouri side, though, as we just showed you with our camera in downtown Joplin, the snow not letting up so much yet. Covered roadways, I-44, at least a stretch of that in Jasper County, I-49 down to the Arkansas state line. A number of highways covered in the southern part of southwestern Missouri, so the southern half of Lawrence County, Berry, Newton, McDonald counties, and in Joplin, some partially covered roadways being reported as well. Here's a look at that snow on the Skywatch Storm Tracker as it continues to slowly slide off to the east. Winter weather advisories here until noon, here until 6 this evening, and down into the southern parts of our viewing area in the Pink Counties, winter storm warnings through 6 this evening. Now, believe it or not, we are actually going to warm up later. The snow will taper off and wrap up no later than about 3 o'clock. Skies will clear, and then we're looking at highs today, mid-upper 40s, and it's going to be even warmer as we go through the rest of this week. We'll look at all that in the full forecast here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The 18th annual Polar Plunge took place over the weekend. Samantha Walker shares how the plunge benefits the Special Olympics.
Feels good to be home. Ashley's President's Day sale is going on now. The President's Day sale going on now, only at Ashley.
Despite the weather, more than 100 people in Pittsburgh found themselves in a pool Saturday for a good cause. KOAM's Samantha Walker tells us more about this year's Polar Plunge benefiting the Special Olympics.
The 18th annual Polar Plunge for Special Olympics in Pittsburgh made quite the splash. 150 people found themselves jumping into water around 40 degrees for the cause.
This is a law enforcement torch run event, so this is one of the many events that the law enforcement across the nation put on for our Special Olympic athletes.
All proceeds from the plunge go to help support Special Olympics Kansas.
Buys medals, it rents venues, it gets our athletes to sports competitions, it helps with health and fitness, helps buy their equipment. Anything and everything to do with Special Olympics is what this funds.
One Special Olympic athlete says the event is an important one.
Well, they help the athletes raise money for Special Olympics and for a good cause and everything, and the athletes love it.
We are anticipated to break $50,000 for this event.
Chevy Peters is a world champion with Special Olympics. He says seeing the community support is meaningful.
It makes it feel really good, not just for the athletes, but for the people that come here to help support Special Olympics Kansas.
But this is important because this brings everybody in the community together. We all get to come together and we all get to have a good time for someone else.
One plunge participant says that despite the temperatures, the jump wasn't too bad.
You know, it actually wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. It was, once you're in there, it's a little cold, but you get used to it pretty quick, so it wasn't too bad.
In Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
And there are more than 4,000 Special Olympic athletes in Kansas. To read more about the cause, visit our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up later, plenty of things to do in Las Vegas this week, but one attraction was shining a bit differently than the others. And Chris will have a full look at your weather. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Time to change your luck. Indigo Sky Casino's wanted tonight on Fox.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Some of you are waking up going, all right, how'd the Chiefs do last night? Or let's take a look at those highlights from the game. And then you're opening your curtains and going, what in the world Others are waking up and they're just celebrating the Chiefs' win. We got some winter weather out there we got to talk about. First, winter weather advisories here until noon. From here east until 6 this evening. Winter storm warnings in the pink also until 6 this evening. In terms of snowfall totals, in the white zone, we're looking at a dusting to 2 inches, 2 to 4 in the light blue, and 4 inches or more in the dark blue. However, there could be heavier snow bands that, if they get concentrated in any of these areas, could produce some locally heavier amounts. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing that snow. We've got it in Stockton, Lamar, Carthage, just to the west of Greenfield, getting ready to get in on it again. Mount Vernon, Monette, Cassville, Neosho, you're starting to see a bit of a pause. You're on the verge of one if it hasn't paused already. And then we're still seeing snow falling in parts of Oklahoma as well. Miami, Fairland, Grove, Veneta, and starting to exit Lenapaw and Newata. And on southeast Kansas, it's really cleared out and let up. Most of the snow now concentrated from Pittsburgh, stretching back southwest toward Oswego and Coffeyville as it continues to roll on out of the area. And in terms of where the snow is causing issues, now as it's been letting up in Kansas, KDOT is beginning to report improvements in the road conditions out there. We still have partially covered roadways in the light blue here, but that's the good news, is we've also seen improvements. We had a lot of covered roadways this morning in parts of southeastern Kansas, so we have seen some improvements. On the Missouri side, not much change at this point. I-44 now reported as clear where it had been covered, and parts of I-49 now listed as clear, but we still have covered roadways into parts of Barry, Lawrence, Newton, and McDonald counties out there, and into Joplin, some partially covered roadways. And here's why. Take a look at that. This is our camera, downtown Joplin on top of the Cornell complex. It is really starting to come down again out there. In fact, MoDOT cameras around the area, because it's falling heavy enough, these are the heavier snow bands we talked about. 2 issues we have. One is it's making it easier for it to stick to the roadways now. 2, and this is, again, a zoomed in a bit, but it gives you a good idea. Even this camera here on 32nd in range line, we're getting reduced visibilities out there. So even more reason to slow down and be prepared to take a little extra time to get where you're going. Our camera 7th and range line showing the same thing. It's almost like fog, but that's really just the heavy snow that's falling out there. Now here's the good news. Here we are at noon. Take a look out west. Skies begin to clear. It's already warming up. We're seeing a transition to rain for some of us, and then by 2, 3 o'clock at the latest, this is all gone, and we are left with sunny skies and temperatures considerably warmer out there. Quick check on those temperatures. 33 Joplin, feeling like 26. Obviously, it is still snowing with a north breeze at 8. Temperatures around the region holding in the low to mid 30s across the area, so it is cold, but not overly cold. And then again, once the skies clear, we're looking at mid-upper 40s for our highs today. Mostly clear skies tonight. Chilly, low 30s out there for us. And as we go through the rest of the week, those of us seeing snow, it will not last very long as we go mid-50s and sunny tomorrow, 60s Wednesday and Thursday. Then some rain chances Friday and Saturday, a little bit cooler out there on Saturday. And then we'll have decent temperatures for a good portion of the next week, a little cooler. Maybe some rain on Tuesday and back to the mid-60s by next Wednesday. Let's check your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Caitlin with Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. A refrigerator maker calls back some side-by-side brands over possible plastic hazards. Frigidaire is recalling more than 383,000 refrigerators. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says if the ice bucket assembly components break off, plastic pieces could fall into ice. The agency says this poses a choking or cutting hazard. Frigidaire's parent company, Electrolux, has received 343 such reports, with 2 consumers hurt from ingesting plastic. The refrigerators were sold at Home Depot and Lowe's. Consumers should stop using the bucket and check the Consumer Product Safety Commission website for model numbers and replacement information. And many travelers are opting for a train ride to their destination instead of a flight, which saves money and the environment. Although you may think traveling by air saves time, the time it takes to wait in traffic, wait in security, and retrieve luggage adds up to about the same for traveling by train. Plus, taking the train has its benefits, with more legroom and the ability to get up and walk around. Travelers from across the U.S. are seeing both the financial and environmental benefits of this route. And with Amtrak seeing an increase in ridership in 2023 of nearly 30 million people, it's clear that the company is trying to get this method of travel up to speed for the public. And Jeff Bezos has sold about 12 million shares of his Amazon stock holdings. According to a company filing from last Friday, the founder of the e-commerce, retail, and high-tech company Amazon began selling some of his company's stocks. The sale is said to be worth about $2 billion, and the stock unloading took place over 2 days last week. Amazon's company report says that the sale plan is subject to conditions and won't be completed until January 31st, 2025. This comes after Bezos stepped down from being Amazon's CEO in 2021 and became its executive chairman. Bezos is the world's second richest man with a net worth of about $200 billion. And those are our top consumer stories. Now let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
The XFL and the US.
If you think the neon lights are bright on Broadway, wait until you see what can be found in Las Vegas.
Jamie Yukas finds a little flash of the past with a bright attraction.
Bright lights, big city, it's Vegas, baby.
What is it like to be here at the Neon Museum?
Oh, exciting all the time.
Like this one right here. The Neon Museum Las Vegas sits just outside the city's downtown. The Boneyard, as it's affectionately called, consists of 800 signs dating back to the 1930s. David Derry came from Colorado Springs to see it for a third time.
It's just a fascinating place. I remember a lot of these old signs, and it just it brings back a lot of memories.
As more historic casino sites imploded to make way for mega resorts, city leaders wanted to keep the neon signs.
The home of Lido di Peri is 67 feet of history. When this was built in the 1960s, it turns out they used a 1930s transformer.
It was really one of the first industries that had a reuse of old materials. You can make a piece of neon and it lasts for a very, very long time.
The signs, like Moulin Rouge, are also reminders of the area's rich and sometimes complicated past.
It was the first non-racially segregated hotel in Las Vegas. So when Frank Sinatra realized that he could go and have a beer with Sammy Davis Jr. at the Moulin Rouge, that's what they did after they performed on the Strip. They'd make their way over.
Along with all that history, tours at the museum include chemistry lessons.
If it glows blue, it's argon. If it glows red, it's neon, irrespective of what the glass color is.
And for many who visit, it's the perfect setting for a selfie.
It's great photo ops. Well, that looks super cool.
Yeah, it does. An impressive collection of neon. I was just saying they shot part of Mars Attacks back in the 90s with Danny DeVito there.
I'll have to check that out next time I'm in Vegas.
It certainly seems like an exciting thing to do. And another exciting thing to do is maybe just stay indoors if you can. Take a look at this. This is our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. We had mentioned that possibility of some heavier bands of snow. This is absolutely one of them right over Joplin right now. That snow is really coming down. In fact, it's leading to reduced visibilities out there as well, which we can see on the MoDOT cameras around the area. Take a look. The other issue it's creating is we had slick spots on the roads, but this snow is now coming down fast enough and hard enough. It is beginning to stick a lot better to the roadways out there. So you really need to slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. And especially on the Joplin side, kids are still in school today, so you've got to be careful out there. Snow totals from all of this. Again, the white zone, a dusting to 2 inches, 2 to 4 in the light blue, and 4 inches or more in the dark blue. But again, with some of these heavier bands, if they can stay sustained long enough, there could be locally higher amounts out there. One last check of road conditions. Partially covered roadways still in parts of southeast Kansas, but we're seeing some improvements as the snow is letting up. On the Missouri side, still dealing with covered roadways, especially in the southern half of our viewing area. So Lawrence, Berry, Newton, McDonald counties, and getting into the city of Joplin itself. So do be careful out there. We'll have one more check of your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Roofing consultants at Abernathy.
2nd Airborne Raider Division. We are proud to salute Ernest Perez, a 4-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. An Oklahoma woman is dead after a late-night crash in Joplin. It happened around 11 p.m. Friday night on I-44 near Exit 4. Authorities say 24-year-old Rachel Binford was taking the exit when she hit the rear of a tractor-trailer and left the roadway. Binford was killed in the crash. No one in the semi was injured, and the JPD Major Crash Team is investigating the crash. Cherokee County, Kansas authorities are searching for an attempted murder suspect. Police say back in May of 2023, Joshua Ferguson of Riverton shot at a family member multiple times. The victim was unharmed, and Ferguson was later arrested in Webb City, Missouri. Authorities charged him with attempted second-degree murder, aggravated battery, aggravated assault, and criminal threat. He posted bond but has since violated the conditions and is now wanted by police. If you have any information about his whereabouts, you are asked to contact authorities. And the Joplin Public Library Saturday highlighted Black history and culture in honor of Black History Month. It included a storytelling presentation from local authors, all ages book displays, and a children's craft table. Among some of the local organizations participating were the Easttown Dreams District and the George Washington Carver National Monument.
And we've got ourselves a wild day out there. We've got the snow. It's heavy in some locations, but eventually it will end by about 2, 3 o'clock. We clear out. We go mid-upper 40s out there. Heading into tonight, mostly clear skies back into the low 30s. And whatever snow we get in the locations that see it won't last long. Mid-50s tomorrow, 60s Wednesday and Thursday. Some rain chances Friday and Saturday, and a little bit cooler on Saturday.
And the streets of Peru and Cuba were decked in red last Friday as people of Chinese descent and locals held celebrations to welcome the Lunar New Year of the Dragon.
Spectators in Lima watched performers in lion and dragon costumes dancing, while in Havana, groups put on performances showcasing various Chinese martial arts. For Chinese-Cuban Maria del Carmen Lee, the Lunar New Year is an important holiday that must not be forgotten, and it's China's biggest holiday, and it began on February the 10th. And of course, the biggest holiday around here is the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
Doesn't get much bigger than that.
It certainly doesn't.
And we're going to continue celebrating that all throughout today up until Wednesday's parade.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning.
We'll see you back here today at noon.